Click the subscribe button below to receive new videos as we release them. Hit the thumbs up button so others can find our content. For more information, visit thejerusalemassembly.org.
The Spiritual Debate. January 23, 2025, The Seven Powers of the Light. By Ruben D. Garcia. Extraordinary. It is the best word that I can use to describe what lies before all humanity in the next 49 days. It will begin on January 23 of this year. In earlier articles addressing the phenomenon of the year 2025, I emphasized that the year 2025 is not by any means a regular year but one with many surprises, both friendly in nature and some not so friendly. That is the emotional result of these disclosures that will assess every aspect of your conscience. Therefore, I take this opportunity to bring to you an awareness to assist you in maintaining a balance between the two forces or powers that will be interacting fierceness not only in these 49 days but during an emotional roller coaster until the holy days of Passover and Palm Sunday in the month of April 2025. Therefore, let's be objective and honest and avoid creating a strenuous spiritual and emotional state. Rather, focus not only on why all this will happen but also what is the purpose of it all. As you have experienced in the last 2 decades, humanity's conscience has been traveling through murky waters and in need of purification, as the message of January 19 outlined. We have detoured ourselves from a spiritual existence, bringing about the realization and existence of the 7 powers of darkness which created the malicious and malignant environment we presently exist. Consequently, the divine realm saw a much-needed intervention, and since January 2020, all efforts have been placed in effect to bring humanity to a conscience awareness with much emphasis during this year, 2025, and throughout the year 2028. The days ahead of the year 2025 are a spiritual road map depicting emotional stopovers along with what I have understood to bring a richer spirituality, which happens to be an aspect of the counterpart of the 7 powers of darkness, the 7 powers of light. For so many, we may have never known that there existed divine powers within the light that afford us the spiritual means to combat darkness's attractive notions. As darkness thrones itself in the magnificent virtues of hatred, suppression, envy, simply absolutism, power and control of a human conscience, so the light embraces hope, unconditional love, compassion, mercy in all aspects of the human nature. But the light is not the only one with the 7 powers to destabilize darkness influences. There is also the power of truth and the power of the way. Each one with unique divine characteristics to strengthen the divine virtues of each of us. You will recognize that these 3 divine virtues Jesus outlined eloquently. Thus, we have entered this spiritual and emotional journey in the hopes that all of humanity, in some manner, could come into a spiritual agreement that first, we recognize and accept that we are creation of a supreme creator and within a divine essence, but also capable of rising to the occasion to defeat darkness. And finally, being released from the shackles of ignorance, hatred, desires, and wrathful attitudes from the consortium darkness used to incapacitate humanity into a spiritual slave encampment. Now, as mentioned earlier, the days ahead are both our emotional and spiritual map for 2025. During these days before the Holy Week in April, we must entertain ourselves from various arenas: spiritual suppression, skepticism, isolation, resistance, biases, denials, and even experienced emotional controls. These are traits and fundamental aspects darkness has used for a long time but will increase in strength and fortitude during 2025. Consequently, your physical stamina will easily display various physical symptoms that will be more uncomfortable than anything else but will bring about exhaustive periods, such as sleep cycle disturbances, dysfunctional appetites, and headaches. Most of these symptoms are the products of emotional instability caused by worrying, reluctance, and of course, spiritual conspiracies. As the days journey into February, March, and April, all of humanity will experience a sense of emotional disorientation in all aspects of our relationships, work, school, marriage, and even religious attitudes. The scope of all of this is to not only wake up humanity but also to eradicate the dark programming of years past. As they say, It is now or never. So, we have embarked on this journey and must quickly adapt to a middle-of-the-road stand, and it will require much attention to your ill habits that have relentlessly kept you from ascending to a higher level of conscience, i.e., being lazy, procrastinating, or resolving to not act in good faith. It will be a period of seeing yourself in a mirror and deciding not only what you are but what you have become. These unprecedented spiritual moments are the ones that will decide the level of anguish, anxiety, or discomfort you will experience, and why you are unable to tolerate their impacts. You may find yourself emotionally disoriented, causing friction with co-workers, family members, and even friends when dealing with a project or task. Of course, there is not one solution for all this, but this is a brief overview of the influential possibilities in which the disclosures and dark influences will have on us. So, we come to the truth of it all. What is going to be needed to sustain an emotional balance in which darkness is going to throw us into an emotional frenzy these days of the year 2025? Discernment is all we need to put into practice daily as the havoc of the year concentrates on our cognitive process, i.e., how we think. Especially when dealing with highly volatile issues in the social and economic arena. The idea is a simple one: avoiding the proverbial pendulum attitude. Simply, stay away from emotional swings. Yes, you will confront darkness pulling you to the left and the light pulling in the opposite direction. It will be an emotional and spiritual tug of war. Your initiative should be one of remaining centered to all aspects that affect your conscience stability. In short, remain cool, collected, and calm. I know, it is easy to say, but the reality is that an emotional stable head will be needed for certain. You will see it. I suggest. Stay away from any news media, especially the ones that for the last 4 years have eluded from truth and sincere journalism. Also, stay away from shows that emphasize according to what you consider damaging to spiritual stand. Talk shows and political forums should be out of your repertoire if you can. All of this will be darkness agenda driven. Stay away from contradicting individuals with narrow points of view. I suggest learning not to get involved in social or political discussions, especially with family members, for if you do, you will pay a dear price later, such as indifference, hatred, or even violence. Of course, remember, there will not be a simple solution. It will be the state of your conscience that will decide your outlook on everything. Remain balanced and neutral and you will endure it all and be glad you did. Remember, these events are part of a divine test to advance into a whole new earth. Surely, you would love to exist in an atmosphere of love, peace, harmony, and unity, wouldn't you? I thought so. Be wise and true as the Bible clearly depicts it. Peace and love.